Shut up!
Hi, welcome back to Conversations with Carol and Cheryl. How are you doing, Carol?
Hey, Cheryl, I'm doing well.
Okay, great. Well, before we get started, I want to remind everybody to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Carol and Cheryl, and give us a little bit of feedback, what you think. It's always interesting to see if you agree or disagree or even have some good points to make to help people with whatever we're discussing. Right, Carol?
Right on.
Right on, right on.
Right on, sister.
So today we're going to talk about Meghan and Harry making their exit. What do you think about that?
Meghan and Harry, go bye-bye.
It's kind of funny. I have a friend that he just briefly said something about Meghan, and it wasn't about Harry and Meghan. It was about Meghan and that she had come from a rich family and they were still taking money. And it was all this misinformation. It was definitely geared towards Meghan. I just thought, well, this is the whole problem. Who's to say it wouldn't have been any other woman that married him? And maybe he was ready for this. Maybe he wanted out, but had no excuse until he got married and was raising a family. And one of the things I feel so sorry for her about, but everyone's got one, is her sister. Go away. Do you know about her sister?
I listened to the sister in an interview just to prepare for this because I have no idea about any of the stuff. And to me, she seemed very articulate and sincere. So tell me why, what's your beef with the sister?
I don't think, to my knowledge, she has said nothing positive about Meghan. It's a half sister. They're older. It's a different mother. So their dad married Meghan's mom and had Meghan. And I don't think they have much of a relationship. So why are you chiming in and being negative? Just keep quiet. She went over for the wedding. She wasn't invited, but she went anyway. And it's basically to give commentary or interviews. And it's always negative. So it's just an embarrassment.
So you think she's an attention whore?
Yes.
She's leveraging the situation to draw attention to herself.
Yes, that's what I think. And shame on the press for always going to her to get her opinion. They don't have much of a relationship. They're just coat riders. Leave her be. Let her go. What did the sister say? She said that the dad was disappointed. And the sister said that, let's see here. I got her quote here. Oh, she said that she was, well, as they put it, she slammed the royal couple in an interview. She said, it's a slap in the face. I think what is shocking is the lack of consideration for the people involved. The British royal family, the promises that were originally made to honor royal duties and to lead by example. Do you think that's necessary?
Well, I think the media loves this type of drama because they get ratings, they get sponsors, they benefit from it. But somebody should be managing the family, don't you think?
Well, in this case.
Yeah. Don't you think there should be some intervention?
Yeah, they probably should have been put on some minimal payroll to just act right.
Yes.
Because this is what they're doing. They're making money off these interviews. Oh, and then she continued to say, they stepped into the spotlight knowing what the duties were, knowing what the media would be like for them. If she wanted to be so private, she wouldn't have sat at Wimbledon with 40 empty seats around her. Go away. Go away.
Yeah.
Clearly she doesn't love her sister or respect her.
Right.
I don't know. But you're right. Somebody should have gotten to her family and probably put them on somewhat of a slight payroll so that they could benefit.
But she's right what she's saying. They did make a commitment. She did know what she was getting into.
Yes.
So there's got to be more to the story of why they are departing.
Well, okay. So that's true. They knew what they were getting into to a certain degree. But then the press turns against them. Why do they have to do that? Maybe they were thinking that the press knows what they're getting into. Go easy on them, but they were making up stuff about them. Well, let me just read you some of these headlines. They said, if you want to know that they're treating her differently, this is the article to read. So I read it, and it was pretty funny. I mean, not funny for her, but...
So Cheryl, tell me some of the headlines that you're reading that you're actually having a reaction to.
Well, BuzzFeed put something out. For instance, here's the headline for Kate. Bumping along nicely, the Duchess was seen placing a protective hand on her tummy as she exited the event. Meghan. Personally, I find the cradling a bit like those signs in the back of cars. Baby on board. As though the rest of us barren women deserve to burn alive in our cars.
What is she talking? What are they talking about? When she
Because-
was pregnant?
Yeah, when she kept cradling her stomach, putting her hand on her stomach. But crediting Kate with it and not Meghan. They're so nasty. And like another one, it says, this was when she was doing the avocado toast recipe or something like that, or referred to avocado toast. Kate and William, here's the headline. Prince William was given one of the green fruit wrapped up in a bow by a little boy whose mother is suffering during her pregnancy too. He said, take it to Kate and see what happens. Meghan, the pregnant Duchess of Sussex and so-called avocado on toast whisperer, is wolfing down a fruit linked to water shortages, illegal deforestation, and all-around general environmental devastation.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I mean, and it goes on.
Right.
You know,
so what you're saying is the press is constantly publishing negativity against her.
Yes. And then praising Kate for the same thing.
So why are they doing that? What did she do to make them dislike her?
Well, I read that some people think because she's Black, she doesn't deserve the position. And I don't know. Maybe because she's an outsider. Now seeing what I see, may have poo-pooed the Black thing, but I don't think I would now.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. It's not a slight difference between the two. It's a big difference. And I don't know that she could have done anything so bad to deserve that.
Okay. So is this why they are exiting the royal family? Because of the negative press? Is that part of it?
Well, Harry alluded to that. He put out a statement a little bit ago. I don't know how long ago, a couple months ago, maybe. And his statement was, my wife has become one of the latest victims of a British tabloid press that wages campaigns against individuals with no thought to the consequences. A ruthless campaign that has escalated over the past year throughout her pregnancy and while raising our newborn son. My deepest fear is history repeating itself. I've seen what happens when someone I love is commoditized to the point that they are no longer treated or seen as a real person. I lost my mother, and now I watch my wife falling victim to the same powerful forces. And that statement came out on October 1, 2019. So, like you said, it makes money, and they pit each other against each other. So, like just like they did with Diana.
Right.
You know, the people loved her, but of course they pulled out everything they can, and it's to sell the magazine. So I don't think she did anything. But it is ruthless, and it is
Why do you
thoughtless.
think they are targeting Harry? Because they are hurting Harry by hurting her.
Yeah.
Do you think because he's an illegitimate child?
That's not proven.
It's just like saying they're going after her because she's Black. You know, you just make up a story and go with it. I mean, why
true.
would they target him? Why would the press not have compassion?
Money.
That's like going for the jugular vein.
Money over compassion. Money over everything.
Showing no mercy at all.
Money. Money is everything.
But they've made so much money off of him. And they could make money off of portraying them in a positive light, I think.
Well, that's because you're a decent person talking. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. They did it to Diana when she was 19. They followed her around. You remember the picture where she didn't have a slip on and they took photos of her? You could see right through the dress. I mean, it's just like, come on. Then you have to think about one picture could bring in $100,000. So that photographer has a sick kid, let's say, or somebody, or he wants to pay off their college or something. But, you know, what are they going to do? To them, it's one picture. Not me, somebody else. So I think it's just, you know, they just go for it. But I think good for her. Good for them. Because first of all, he's fourth in line. Why should he be held to the same standards as the first heir to the throne and the second and the third? So it would go from Prince Charles to William and then to William's son. Why put themselves through all that when he's never going to be king? Very slim chance. And who knows if they'll keep up that tradition. But yeah, so William seems to be very much into that world and suited for it. And Harry always seemed more of the wild one and kind of, I don't know, different personality. So apparently giving up the royal pay, they've dismissed some of their staff, all their staff, which made me think of Downton Abbey. Because some people had been working in the royal family for years and now they're gone. Yeah. Only a small portion, they said, would be reassigned. But all I could think of is the butler on Downton Abbey. Yep. Where will I go now? Who will I dress?
Yep. What will I do?
So they said that they already have seen her driving, picking up a friend from the airport in Canada. And then I just read that Prince Charles will provide for them. But I'm assuming it's only till they get on their feet. But who knows?
Well, I think they have a trust.
Yeah, he's paying from his trust, I think. Yeah, they probably all said, hell no, this is this is your kid.
I'm divorcing the family, but I want the money. And I'm taking my help with me.
No, they didn't take the help.
I know. But they probably fought for it. And somebody said, no, we're punishing you.
Yeah, maybe.
You want to leave the family? You think you can make it on your own? Well, go ahead. You think you can get up in the middle of the night with your baby?
Right.
Go ahead. Let me see. Prove it.
Well, every time they took a jet, they were being scrutinized because of climate change, but it was, that, and also because of the money. They're like, wow, you're taking a private jet, and this is, taxpayer money, but it was Elton John's jet. People are assuming, and the press is assuming. Right. It was sent for them. They didn't pay anything. So that's got to get old really quick. Especially fourth down.
Well, I think that's why they just want to be independent and just cut ties and say, look, we'll make our own money. And if they're in a struggle for a while, it's worth it. That's less of a struggle than being dependent on the royal money.
You're right.
Don't you think?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But why didn't the Queen stick up for them?
She did.
But why didn't she with the media? Who's in charge here? Who can shut the media down and say, stop it?
Oh, right. Yeah.
These are my people. You don't treat my people like this. And if you do, then we're going to tweet fake news, or something. There'll be some consequence.
Yeah, you'd think she'd have some kind of power that way. The royal family was a little dirty. When Diana was in there, they would both put the press against each other. So I don't know. I mean, it's just too bad they didn't do this right before Prince Andrew's bombshell went off. The picture with the young girl with Jeffrey Epstein at his house and mansion in New York.
Oh, my God.
Then nobody would be thinking about Harry and Meghan.
Oh, you mean the girl in the picture that he's standing next to, but he doesn't recall? That girl? That one?
Right. I even think he said, that's not my hand.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so maybe they thought, if we're going to go, we got to go now.
Yeah. Yeah, before the pictures of Harry and the young girls come out. We're out of here.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, but the Queen did put out a nice statement for them as far as supporting them after the fact. That was nice. And it will be funny to see if she goes back into acting again.
I think she will. If somebody will hire her, I think she will. That was her passion.
You know what I heard the other day? And it was very brief. I don't know what show or anything, but it was very brief. And they said that Princess Grace was pregnant when she married the Prince of Monaco. Did you ever hear that?
Cheryl, unlike you, I don't pay attention to this stuff. Should I have heard of it?
No. What was the only time?
My commute.
See, I love this stuff. I love this stuff. But yeah, anyway. And remember,
What's the difference if she was pregnant? I mean,
well, she only met him like 2 or 3 times when they got married. So, but she had a thing for older men. That was well known. She loved older men. But it doesn't make a difference. It's just surprising. And what a royal family that was. Oh my gosh. I guess, like you said, if it didn't affect your commute, I was reading it during mine, and that family was crazy. They were really tabloid information. But anyway, I digress.
Let me ask you something. So when you're reading this on your commute, it's negative press. Did you feel sorry for them? Did you feel like, oh my gosh?
No, I used to eat it up when I was younger.
So I think people eat up the sister, Samantha Markle. I think they eat it up. They love it. People love it.
Yeah, they do.
That's why it happens.
I think everybody had to face a moral decision. When Princess Diana died, being chased by the press, everyone was, I know I had friends that said, I'm not going to buy the Enquirer anymore. And I still purchased here and there, but not as much. And then with social media, I don't purchase it at all. But a lot of this information I did get was from US Weekly online, kind of what I call rag mag.
Considered credible? Or is that like an Enquirer?
No, it's above the Enquirer. But these were direct quotes. You know what I mean? So I don't think they can get the direct quotes wrong. So that's why I went with that. But I have to say that the Enquirer, the Star, those were the only two I used to get. And people always poo-pooed them, thought they were silly and stuff, but they were very accurate on people, on stars and stuff like that. Not 100%, but you'd hear it there and then it would come out. And of course, it's not like alien baby born to, 74-year-old woman. That was like the Examiner. Obviously, that's ridiculous. That's entertainment. But the other stuff, pretty accurate, I have to say.
Well, I'm disappointed in Meghan's dad because where is the leadership in the family? Who is driving the bus? This guy should not be pitting the daughters against each other. That is a betrayal. You don't go against your sister.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
If you want to, that's fine. But you don't do it in the public light. That's not appropriate. I would not let my kids do that, even if I hated one of the kids. That's just wrong.
It is wrong. Apparently, they're saying that's why he didn't show up to her wedding is because he sold a story to the press. Now, I don't have this 100%, but apparently, I guess they found out about it and she was hurt and he didn't show up, but then he used the excuse of a heart attack and couldn't travel. But it's just, your daughter has a heart
attack because God's punishing you.
Yeah.
I strike you down for going against your daughter. You're a bad daddy. I put you in the hospital,
Right.
What the hell? Of course you're going to have a heart attack. Your heart's breaking.
Yeah.
Your family's falling apart. You lost your wife. Your kids are fighting.
And taking it public.
Yeah. What is wrong with that? I have a problem with that.
When she was walking down the aisle and I just thought, that poor thing, Prince Charles had to give her away because her dad couldn't be there because it's just such a mess. And I was just like, you think they could have just kept quiet? Can she go on with a family like that? The sister just won't stop. Can you imagine traveling over there? She's in a wheelchair, uninvited to the wedding, but went over anyway. It's just like, why? That's really going out of your way. It's a half sister who's older. I think she's like 55 or something. And Meghan's 35, 37. Can you imagine having someone just tag along in your life like that? Oh, God.
Well, it sounds to me like Meghan is taking her power back and she's taking control of her own life and her own destiny and moving forward.
Yep, that's what I feel too. And I think good for the both of them.
And the sister is still like a broken record. My poor dad. She owes us an apology. She's moving on.
I'm all for it. I think good for you.
Where are they going to go from here? It's going to be fun to see what Meghan does and how she creates her own destiny. If she's going to become another actress continuing with her passions, what kind of mom she's going to be, what kind of a wife. She's got it all ahead of her.
It'll be interesting to see. And to see how the Canadian press will treat them and if they welcome them. And it'll be nice to see what kind of life they carve out. I wish them the best.
I do too. And I wish the other family members the best too. It would be nice if they could just focus and get in their own lane and focus on themselves and their own lives and make their lives great.
Yeah, you're a better person than I.
I'm saying if they've received money for these interviews, take the money and go do something.
But yeah, let's hope so.
Go help somebody else or do something with the money to advance your life and have a better quality of life and just move on.
Right, I agree. Let's hope they do it.
Yeah. I'm all about let's be a team. Let's band together. We're stronger together. We can do hard together. There's hurt feelings. Let's make amends. Let's stop betraying and hurting each other. But that's a fairy tale. That's not real life.
You took the words out of my mouth. Yeah. I mean, if her dad at this age is, and her sister at her age, I don't think it's going to change on their part. But I'm so glad she gave them nothing to work with.
Yeah, it's true.
Remove yourself from the situation. And that's what they did from her family and the press.
I just think it's a great example to anybody that's struggling in a family of how to say gracefully, we're divorcing our family. We're going to Canada. Have a good life. We love you. We wish you all the best, but we're moving on. What a great example.
It is a good example. It's an excellent example. You do not have to put up with certain things, even in their situation, even in their circumstances. So yeah, it really is a good example.
And they might reconcile later. The dad might want to be a grandfather, Yeah. The sister might want to be an aunt.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe they can reconcile. I doubt it, but
maybe. It'll be interesting to see. I'd like to know what. Well, here I go. I'm one of those people. What will the sister say next? They got me. Guilty.
Well, they will. She will say something.
Right.
She'll always have something to say because somehow she benefits either financially or in her entitled, righteous persona. I'm assuming through her lens, she thinks she's doing the right thing. She's justifying it in her own head that this is good. She's telling the world how it really is, and that's important. More important than the relationship with your sister. Being right is more important. But like you said, it'll be interesting to see where we go from here.
It will be very interesting.
Well, what's your prediction? What do you think is going to happen?
I think they're still going to be tied to certain things that they can and cannot do. Like, I don't think she's going to be able to take on a role where she's having a sex scene. I just don't think she'll ever be able to take those kind of roles again. I don't know what kind of roles she will be able to take. Maybe they'll do speaking engagements and make their money that way, a book deal, maybe a documentary on their life, things of that nature. But I don't think they're going to be 100% free to do everything, or at least her as an actress. But they can make plenty of money on a book deal and speaking engagements. How to break away from your family, royal or not.
I think it's a great topic.
But I think you nailed it. I think it's a really good example.
Take your power back.
Exactly.
Don't give away your power.
I think Harry has always been a little restricted by that role. So it will be fun to see him live somewhat of a normal life. How much of his personality will come out now. And I mean, he's got to feel such freedom, I would think.
In that piece that you read about his mom, you could tell that he was speaking from the heart.
Oh,
that was genuine.
Do you remember that interview where she almost came to tears when the guy said, "How are you doing?" And she said, "Not so well," which I thought was really great for her to admit. And then she said, "Thank you for asking. Not a lot of people have asked." And so it sounds like she probably went through postpartum. I have no idea if that's true or not, but she was definitely teary-eyed and she was honest. And again, a great example of being human. So just me, I think she was probably going through a lot. That's a lot to go through. Being married, being pregnant, under all that scrutiny, trying to raise your son, trying to live your life. That was a lot real quick. And it's so sad. It always seems like people think, wow, this is great. They love me. And then all of a sudden, that's people just turn. I don't know. The press I guess it's the press, they love them and they're writing great things about them. And then it just turns nasty. This is kind of an odd comparison, but this is the very first time in my life that I remember the public turning on somebody. And it was an about face, and that was the Bee Gees. I think the Bee Gees are one of the greatest groups. They've written so many songs. And they came out with the disco album, Saturday Night Fever. And then all of a sudden, everyone imitated the Bee Gees once they declared disco sucks. They were never that popular, it seems like, again. And they were such a great band all the way up. It was like the one album, and people turned on them. They weren't in the limelight ever again like they were before. Right. Does that make sense? You kind of recall that? Or that wasn't your music, right?
Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding?
Well, the
Bee Gees are my favorite. That was my favorite album of all time.
Oh, okay.
I probably play the Bee Gees every day.
They're great.
And I pretend in my head that I'm roller skating.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to the roller rink? Oh my
Every
gosh.
Friday.
That is my happy place.
Reverse skate, couples only. I'll forever hear that.
I love the Bee Gees.
Yeah. But you remember when people turned on them?
Yeah, I think they turned on disco. Not
Yeah,
necessarily them. And they were like the kings of disco.
That's why they got hit harder. Yeah, they turned on the whole genre. But, they would imitate them. Ha, ha, ha. Staying alive and stuff like that. And it's like they just poo-pooed their talent.
But let me ask you something. If the press portrayed a royal family member in a positive light over and over and over again, would you read that? Would you click play on a video? Would you hate them? Would you feel like, ugh, these people are so privileged?
I don't know maybe that I would click on them as much. Maybe if they showed her royal fashion, I love the fashion, like who wore this better. If they did that, I would click on it. I've never begrudged anybody for their good things happening to them or stuff like that. So I don't think I would feel like that. But no, I'm guilty. I'm guilty of reading all the scoop. I love it. I love it.
You like the drama, right? You like the contentious relationships.
No, I don't like it. It's just that, like with Meghan Markle, like I would probably tune in just out of like, what kind of sister does she have? Why is the sister doing this? Like the human aspect of it. Even the Duchess of Sussex has this problem, is interesting to me. Nobody's immune from this. People are people. You just put titles on them. They still have our problems. Like, I like that kind of stuff.
I could care less what these people are doing. And even worse, I could be sitting next to them at a bar. I wouldn't even know who it is. That's how bad and distant I am. Completely out of touch.
Right.
That's why I ask, because it just fascinates me that you know so much about these people. It's almost like your passion.
Yeah, I get into it. I don't know why. It's just very intriguing to me. I like reality shows, human behavior. Yeah. People say, oh, American Idol. I'm like, American Idol is more than just watching a singer perform. You're watching someone that went from obscurity, and you get to watch their whole journey to where they're mega rich and famous. Look at Carrie Underwood and Kelly Clarkson. We saw them when they were nothing, and now we don't even hardly think about that. But we got to see it from start to finish. And what made the public like them more than the other winners?
Okay.
And how driven some are than others. And
no, that makes sense. All right, Cheryl. Well, I think we solved all the world's problems today. At least Megan's, right?
We're getting there.
Megan, if you're listening. Yeah, if you're listening, Megan, call Cheryl. She'll tell you. Cheryl's all about it. We'll report out. All right, Cheryl. Well, this was fun. Thank you for thinking of this topic and enlightening me on your perspective.
Very deep stuff here.
It is deep.
Yeah. Go to Carol for the deep stuff and Cheryl for the shallow.
Deep and shallow. Deep and shallow.
The important thing is that people are realizing you don't have to take it. You don't have to take it. Jesus, if it's not good for you, then yeah, it's not bad for you to look out for yourself. And I think that her doing this and Harry doing this shows people that might feel bad about that. If it's not good for you and your well-being, you have the right to take care of yourself. They made a bold move to take care of themselves. Well, thanks for letting me talk about my royal subjects.
Shallow Cheryl.
Shallow Cheryl hair.